Welcome to the X Corner. I'm still here adding tidbits of mutation to that superhero crew. I'll be covering the X comics for the week of May 2nd, 2018. This week we have 5 comics: Astonishing XMen 11, Hunt for Wolverine Weapon Lost, number 1 of 4, Rogue and Gambit, number 5 of 5, Weapon X, number 17, and XMen Gold, number 27. Spoilers. Yeah, of course. We'll start with Astonishing XMen number 11. The writer is Charles Soule, and the penciler is Ron Garvey. The X-Men are fighting Proteus in his chaotic town, but he has sent seeds out to other cities that will grow, destroying reality. Psylocke and X try to contain them, while the rest of the X-Men battle back and defeat Proteus. But Psylocke and X are failing, so X suggests they tap into all the psychics to use their power to stop the seeds. They do, but Psylocke realizes too late this was all part of X's plan, as he sheds his skin and reveals himself to be the Shadow King. Call me jaded, but this was exactly what I had hoped wouldn't happen, but I knew it was going to. X is the Shadow King, it seems, and yet again he tricked the X-Men into releasing him. The storyline is concluded next issue though, so we have that going for us at least, so it won't be overly drawn out. This comic has been visually stunning though, through all its artists, and continues to be great here. This comic has 2 back-to-back 2-page spreads, which I'm usually against, but the first showed the seeds hitting cities around the world, and the second was X facing Proteus and all the X-Men breaking out to attack. Very nice indeed. I am disappointed that it's just the Shadow King again, but overall it was well nested in the Proteus story, so I can't be too upset. We'll see how it wraps up, but I'll give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Then there's Hunt for Wolverine Weapon Lost, number 1 of 4. The writer is once again Charles Soule, and the penciler is Matteo Buffagni. This is the first of the miniseries looking for Wolverine, and stars Daredevil. He is recruiting a team to go searching for what he thinks is the missing body of Wolverine. His first recruit is an Inhuman named Frank McGee. McGee was a cop before getting his powers, and now he has eyes that light up and take snapshots of what he sees. Next they get Misty Knight out of retirement, and then lastly they find Cypher. The ex-dead ex-New Mutant has powers to decipher any language. Unfortunately that includes the internet. He was stuck trying to collate the whole internet and was starving to death before Daredevil gave him a baton to the head to knock him out of it. The new team takes him out to get some food, and he tells them with a smartphone he'll find Wolverine in 10 minutes. He does, but that just opens up a new can of worms, as it turns out there are sightings of Wolverine all over the globe. So now it'll be the detectives looking for a needle in a stack of needles. This book was really good, I mean surprisingly so. I'm not a Daredevil fan, but it is nice to read something good that isn't X-Men for once. We get Charles Soule once again, hot off Astonishing XMen, and he also wrote the Death of Wolverine story, so it's appropriate he's involved in the resurrection. The art is really amazing. The dark tone that Buffagni gets while giving all the characters their own look is great. So far this is a superhero noir book, and I'm into it. It is also surprisingly funny. When Daredevil asks Frank to help him find Wolverine, he says which one, and we're shown some, not even all, the Wolverines running around. Also, both Frank and Misty have flying vehicles. Frank's is a bike and Misty's is a car. It was good to see Cypher back too. I thought he was still dead, but he must have come back somewhere along the way. Might even be the same time Dackett got resurrected. This is going to be a fun few issues, and now I'm really excited for all these Hunt for Wolverine minis. 9 out of 10. Then we have the final issue of Rogue and Gambit, which is number 5. The writer is Kelly Thompson, the penciler is Pere Perez. As I said, this is the finale of the Rogue and Gambit series. When we last left them, Rogue and Gambit were battling an army of their golems created by Lavish. Rogue realizes that Dr. Grand is actually a golem of Lavish and absorbs her, getting a flashback to Lavish's creation of Grand as a young girl. She has to create these golems so that she can transfer some of the trauma and anguish she absorbs from those around her. Lavish then shows up with more golems of mutants she's created, but Rogue now has a bit of Lavish's power and is able to reabsorb all the golems around her. Lavish says that feeling all the anguish around her made her become bad, but Rogue says she knows how she feels, but she handled it. She defeats Lavish, who turns out to be just another golem. Rogue then gives all the people whom Lavish absorbed back their powers, and we learn that you can't just take the bad memories out, since without those you just make the same mistakes. And we end with a Rogue and Gambit kiss. The series was fun, and even if this issue was a quick wrap-up, it was still good. The concept of making golems allowed the artists to stretch their wings, drawing different rogues and gambits through the ages, as well as some really nice splash pages with the two. I like how Lavish is still out there too. Nice touch having her be another golem. Would I read an ongoing Rogue and Gambit series? My first reaction was no way, but on reflection, I could see this being fun. What more could you ask of a writer than to make these characters fun to read? This issue might be only a 7, but the main series overall was definitely an 8. And just maybe, we'll get some more. Next we have Weapon X number 17. The writers are Greg Pak and Fred Van Lente, and the penciler is Yildiray Sinar. So Omega Red has escaped a Russian mutant prison and is absorbing the other inmates. Weapon X is sent in to stop him. Logan puts Sabretooth in charge because he's too banged up to lead, and also because Sabretooth wouldn't listen to anyone else anyways, and he did it as a sort of release for Sabretooth's aggression. They break in and find the other mutants strung up, and Omega Red attacks. They try to save the Russian mutants, but Omega Red tells them to attack Weapon X and give them back their life force he stole from them. In the confusion, Sabretooth is dragged away by Omega Red. So the roller coaster of Weapon X continues. This issue wasn't great. The art was subpar, the writing had lots of quips and seemed to be trying too hard to be cool, and I really don't like Omega Red. I can't say it was Exile's bad, but it was pretty bad. The Russian group holding Omega Red is called Sickle, and is like S.H.I.E.L.D. Domino asks what it stands for, and Lady Deathstrike says something strained and contrived. I think that's a metaphor. I think in the hands of a better team, this could be good, but reading Domino and Old Man Logan in their own series written by better people, it really irks me to read them here. They even have to explain why Logan put Sabretooth in charge. Since the moment I read it, it was like, why? As I think about it, I don't know if I could be on this trip anymore. The prospect of a team fighting Omega Red and joining Sickle makes me throw up in my mouth a bit. I think I'm out. Unless it's a slow week, I think I've reached my limit on Weapon X. It wasn't a punch in the face like Exiles, but it was enough for me to put it down and walk away. I guess this issue will be a 4 out of 10, but it will be the last. Lastly, we have X-Men Gold number 27. The writer is Mark Guggenheim and the penciler is Geraldo Borges, with flashbacks by David Marquez. So Peter's been kidnapped and is being used to recreate a worse version of the Legacy virus, to wipe out mutants from the world. Rachel and Storm discuss their powering up, and where Storm is trying to get rid of her Asgardian powers, Rachel is embracing hers to scary levels. She is able to track Peter's whereabouts all the way to the evil lair in the Savage Land. Kitty is pissed and all about getting Peter back, and the mutant sentinel Alpha has replicated himself and attacks while Peter is put in a rocket and sent into space for some reason. The art is weird here. At first I was going to say it was bad, but the faces and expressions are pretty good. Everything else is sketchy and a little off. Not so bad, just different I guess. The art for the flashback, however, by David Marquez was great. It's only a page, but it reminded me of Dave Cockrum's art from the giant-sized X-Men, which I'm sure it was meant to do. I'd love to see a whole comic like that, but I doubt anyone could keep a monthly schedule doing it anymore. As for the story, Nance keeps getting breaks because she is what Nightcrawler calls a civilian, whatever that means. She's just lucky they didn't send Weapon X to get Peter. Nance would be in pieces. This story isn't catching me in a way. All the pieces are there, but it's a little paint by numbers. I liked all the little interactions of the team, but the actual plot is lackluster. Alpha, however, is becoming more interesting as maybe the real villain of the piece, but so far not wowed. Just a 7 out of 10, I think. So that wraps up another week. It would have been a down week if it hadn't been for that Hunt for Wolverine story. I'm so excited to read more now. And knowing Marvel's release schedule, I won't have to wait long. See you next week.